Hi everyone, and welcome to the April edition of DroneBlocks Up in the Air. I'm your host, Clinton Evans. Now, in today's episode, we're going to start by shining our Educator Spotlight on a school that had students run a drone light show. Then we're going to look at these compilations of flying cars. Right before we look at our DroneBlocks DEXI drone in action. And then we're going to dive into the April challenge. So that's a lot to cover. Let's jump on in. Now, Educator Spotlight takes us to a school called St. Michael's Catholic Academy, and Leroy Friesenhan, or more so his students in his robotics elective, they put together a drone light show. Now, what I think is so cool about that is besides having the students put this together and see students actually diving into light show technology, actually, if you read the blog post, you will see that the students offer quite valuable feedback from a student's point of view. So, for example, one of the students mentioned that, and I'll read here, one of the students said, I joined the club because I really liked engineering, so I wanted to do some robotics. The drones are a completely new program and it's great. I don't code that much, but I love the physical engineering process. It's so cool to hear students talk like that. And there's one other area down here that I thought was really cool. We learned a lot about how they interact with each other mid-air, talking about the drones, accommodating for downdrafts and collisions, and it taught us to be meticulous. It's very complex. And one student added, we've had to persevere as a team and come up with separation of roles. So give that a read. It's always so cool to see what the students have to say. And speaking about students having their say, I'd love to hear what they say about flying cars. That's right, there's been a series of compilations coming out about flying cars. And one of the clips that I saw was crazy. It breaks down all the different types of flying cars. And it starts off with the basic, the concept of a car with propellers and wheels. Flying cars, although they're more into the skies and not the roads. So are they still cars? So some of the clips you see here, they look like giant drones. Two people can jump in. It's got the propellers. It takes off. The drones fly. They're really cool. Some of the price points are between $150,000 and $200,000. So they're not going to be flying off the shelves, so to speak. But one thing that I'm curious about is that how do we regulate these? I wouldn't want to stand too close to a flying car with those exposed propellers. So I'm sure there's a lot to come. And I know we're not going to be jumping in any flying taxis anytime soon. But what I think is really cool about the concept of the flying cars is that our students in the classroom today, they're going to be building this technology coming straight from the classrooms of tomorrow. And speaking of the classrooms of tomorrow, the DroneBlocks DEXI drone has made some waves. It is a drone built by DroneBlocks. It is so cool. Now, if any of you went to the AUVSI Exponential Conference in San Diego in April, you may have seen the DEXI flying around the AVR student competition court. This drone has been built from the ground up by DroneBlocks with STEM in mind. So not only can you get kits where the students will build the drones from scratch, so it becomes an entire experience in the classroom. Building the drone, that includes assembly, getting the firmware, running the code, flying the drone. You can code the drone, you can do manual flight, as you see in this video. Now I want to show you something that's so cool. On the DroneBlocks website, if you look at our blogs on the DEXI, you can read all about it. Some very cool stuff with the PX4 flight controller, the precision optical flow sensor, which is so cool. That's something that really blew me away. And in fact, if we go to our products page and you see the autonomous drones level 3 with the DEXI in this clip here, you will actually see the accuracy of this drone is so amazing. And you can see in this little split-second clip that you actually push the drone and watch how quickly it just comes back to place. Like it knows it was pushed and it just comes back. I can't wait to see these drones in action. Now, another really cool thing is that DEXI is shipping in May. So we don't have too long to wait before DEXI makes its way into the classrooms. And speaking of classrooms, how did you get on with the challenge? Did you use the new DroneBlocks Crazy Fly app to fly to the different helipads in the classroom simulator? If you did, awesome. If you didn't, feel free to just watch along. So all I did is I did a couple of blocks, namely the setting the speed to 100 centimeters, a takeoff and land, and a land block, because I knew I had to go to 2 helipads. Now, what I did differently in this one is I used the measurement tool and I picked up my 2 points. I plotted that path with the measurement tool. And once I plotted the path, instead of using fly left, fly forward, fly right, I decided to use the fly XYZ block. So if you've never used that block, a real quick refresher is X is forward and backward, Y is left and right, and Z is up and down. So to fly left, all I need to do is enter a positive number in the Y. And I hover over the measurement tool and it tells me that this line is 426 centimeters. Then I hover over the next line and it tells me it is 807 centimeters So my X value is 807, and then I'm going to duplicate the block, and then I'm going to hover over the next measurement line, and it tells me that the length of that is actually 828 centimeters. So I need to fly negative 828. And of course, I don't want to hit that bag on the desk. So now I'm actually going to use a fly up block and just fly up 50 centimeters. Okay, so now I'm going to launch my code. So we have the drone flying in a nice diagonal line, lands on the helipad for 1 second, takes off, goes up 50 centimeters and lands on the next one. How cool is that? Now, this month's challenge is really fun. I want you to see how quickly you can go from the starting point to hitting the clock on the top of the classroom above the teacher stand. So have some fun with that. Share your screenshots in the DroneBlocks community, or put it on X/Twitter and mention at DroneBlocks with your answer, and we'll see how that goes. Now, this takes us to the end of the episode. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed anything or you learned something new, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our DroneBlocks channel so you never miss an episode. So until next month, keep your drones in the air and your students engaged, and have fun.